do what I've read is best during quarantine time, Corona time, and get some fresh air in the room. Ow. The more fresh air, put that down. Trust me, your mom and dad do not want to be buying it. All right. So after going down to New Orleans, well, we actually did not go into New Orleans. We went to Metairie, which is right outside New Orleans. Be glad we're here. Anybody know what phase we're in here? Two. So New Orleans has a lot more cases of corona in a smaller area than we have here. They're in phase 1. And you're actually required to wear face masks in your car there. If you're outside, you have to wear a face mask. When you're in a restaurant, you have to wear a face mask unless you're actually chewing or drinking. Yeah. So we stayed out of New Orleans. We went to his doctor's, the hospital, children's hospital, to, kind of down there for my son's appointment, which was in Metairie, right beside New Orleans. And then we went to eat in Metairie, so we didn't have to go to New Orleans. Because I was like, yeah, I don't want to be riding along in the car with a mask on. Turned back around, and we came back to Shreveport. That was a long drive down there and back. So it's nice to be in Shreveport. There are plenty of things to be thankful for up here. We don't have it. Hopefully they won't be in phase 1 then. Because when I was reading about the restrictions the night before, I was like, and I guess we won't be going to do anything fun in New Orleans because we were going to go do one activity while we're down there. And I was reading that. I was like, and we won't be. So they were asking us at Children's Hospital, well, are you guys going to eat something while you're down here? I said, well, of course. And they said, well, do you want to go into New Orleans? I said, no, the restrictions. We sure don't. They said, good idea. That's very smart. Stick to Metairie today. So we did. Okay. So today we're on this page.
What is this page?
Okay. Okay. In case you're wondering what this page is I'm talking about, it's this one. Okay. One of the unfortunate, you okay, Bryson? One of the unfortunate things about Zoom not recording, well, it did record, but not saving the first 2 versions of the lesson that I made for you guys for yesterday. The first one I did in the classroom, I read the entire book for you guys, so you would all be able to test on it for AR yesterday.
Oh yeah,
And then Zoom did not save it. It's like, Rrr.
Oh well.
The second one, my dog sat in my lap for the entire time. So y'all would have been able to see Cookie the whole time being a spoiled rotten little baby.
Oh.
And then Zoom didn't save that one. I'm like, I'm not liking you very much, Zoom. And then my son did something embarrassing in one recording. I was like, and thank you, Ian. Now I get to stop this recording and do another one. That is so helpful of you. Not. Yeah, no, he's just being well, I can't say teenager. He's being a boy. All right, guys. So in Canvas, you're going to go to modules. Okay. Today is going to be one of those weird days. Most times I don't like to start one lesson and not finish it, but I'm thinking we're going to do Intolerable Acts and finish it. And we're going to start Battles of Lexington and Concord and probably not finish it. We'll finish the Battles of Lexington and Concord tomorrow, and then we will start the next lesson, which is part C tomorrow. Well, actually, Lexington and Concord is C. So we'll finish Lexington and Concord tomorrow, and then we'll do Declaration of Independence tomorrow. That will leave us Monday, finishing up with symbols of the United States and going over all parts of the test Monday, which means Tuesday we can test out and be done with social studies. Thanks, right?
Oh, it has to be Tuesday?
Does not want to get up this morning?
I can't wait till Tuesday. I'm gonna wait till Friday.
And this Friday after school, tomorrow after school, my husband's coming up to help me set up labs for science. Because it's one of those that has multiple stations.
Yay. Yes.
Okay. But we're not gonna be switching. Coronavirus cases being what they are, even with gloves, the items that are in this lab, it's hard to make them work. People at other schools, when we came together before Corona, when we could actually come together and do our PDs like we were supposed to, professional developments, meaning teachers from a bunch of different schools came together. We discussed what worked and what didn't on these labs. A lot of teachers and their students could not get the labs to work. I got them to work last year, but it took a lot of help from me. So I think what we're going to do, my husband and I are going to work on it Friday, putting them together. What it might be is that I'll let you guys do a couple of the stations, and the other ones I might direct to make sure that everybody can see it work. Okay? Because the whole point of it, I want you guys to see them work. All right? Because they're pretty cool. All right? We're not going to go through this entire booklet, because some of it, there are activities that are just not practical. There is something called build a generator. You guys,
Is it small? It's going to be small.
yes, that's why I have the tubes back there in the back. Per class, we're going to try, or I'm thinking probably me, going to try to build a generator in here. Okay. This was the lab that was so expensive, i.e. $3,000 in wire, that over 90% of them across the district did not work. Okay. But what does a generator do?
Generates power.
Generates power, generates electricity. Okay, so this is something cool that we have coming up next week or the following week. Okay, so for science, we have some really cool stuff coming up. All right, this is why we want to finish out our social studies so we can get to this stuff. Okay, all right. We've already done our wind turbine stuff. All right, to this. Let's get to Unit 3. No, we're not going to Colorado today. Let's get to Unit 3, Rebellion to Revolution, Thursday, January 21st. Okay. Intolerable Acts text. Okay. I have my handy dandy pens next to me. You guys are going to use your pencil and you're going to label on your paper intolerable acts. Nice and big. Okay. How you spell it is on your paper. Look, in your computer. Okay.
Can you share your screen?
I can. This computer actually allows me to do that. My other one at home wasn't cooperating. I got to turn off ImageMate and turn it back on because it's being weird. Come on, ImageMate. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, there's that. Come on. Share screen, image make. There we go. That's going to take twice to do it. Okay, whoever's talking, I need that to stop, please. Okay. So all you're writing is intolerable acts at the top, okay?
Yeah, that's all we write today.
No, not all you write today. Nice try, though. All right, now we go to Canvas. Okay. Paragraph 1, go for it, Bryson.
After the Boston Tea Party, the British
Got to read louder.
After the Boston Tea Party, the British adopted a strategy that
Sought,
sought to
isolate,
troublemaking Boston from the other colonies. Parliament leaders believed that one of the other colonies were
merely
tagging along with Boston
radicals.
radicals. In the spring of 1764,
74.
passed the
Coercive,
Coercive Acts, which were
aimed
aimed
solely,
solely at Boston. These acts were
considered
considered by the Parliament as punishment to Boston for the race
for its radical opposition
that to British police
policies.
policies. The
Coercive,
coercive acts which became known in the colonies as the
intolerable,
Intolerable Act
consisted
of four separate
legislative. Okay, so did the British title it Intolerable Acts?
No.
What do they call it? What did they call the acts?
What term?
Go into the text. Bryson just read it.
I can't.
Coercive acts. Good job, Kayla. Okay. To coerce means to talk somebody into something. Okay. They thought that people in Boston were being troublemakers. And they thought that people there were talking other colonies into revolting. So they thought, let's put a little pressure on Boston residents with these coercive acts. So the first part, get it? I'm going to guess you don't have one to trade me, do you? You're one that just keeps on taking my pencils every day. The first part of the Intolerable Acts was the Boston Port Bill. It fined Boston for destroying all the tea in the Boston Tea Party. And that also closed the port of Boston until all that tea was repaid. What was it, 394 chests of tea, something like that?
342.
342, 43, something like that. The government bill replaced the governor of Massachusetts with a royal governor. So in other words, the American colonial governor lost his job and they put in a British governor. So someone to British favor. Administration of Justice Act that authorized the new governor, the British governor, to send government officials, in other words, American colonial officials, who had been charged with crimes to other colonies.
Miss Vanderbilt,
Yes, ma'am.
Benjamin's mom wants you to send lots of work for him in case you have to keep him out.
Okay. I will try to take care of this when I get my kids to enrichment. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Please stop talking. Okay. So the Administration of Justice Act, sit up in person. Instead of trying a person in Boston, they would send somebody to another far off colony or send them to England. So what would that do? Think about it. If someone now is charged with a crime, are they sent to a different country to be tried for that crime? Why not?
I don't know.
Does a person want to be away from their family for a long time?
No.
Do they want to be tried and found innocent or guilty by somebody who knows nothing about them?
No.
They want to be judged by someone who is more like them, right? But that Administration of Justice Act made sure that people were being tried by others who were nothing like them, and that they're away from their family, potentially for a long time. So how would that make people feel? Sad and lonesome and maybe very depressed, right? That was a punishment all in itself, wasn't it? Okay, fourth part, Quartering Act. This act applied to all the colonies and was designed to provide shelter for British troops by allowing them to be housed in private homes without the consent of homeowners. Does anybody understand what that means? Okay, so Skyuna doesn't know this, but I think all the rest of you guys know. What is the job of my oldest son? What is he? He's in the Army. So he's a soldier, right? Yeah. Okay. Nobody has to quarter my son. In other words, nobody in here has to give him free home, right? Certainly not somebody in another country, right? Number 4 said that Colonials had to give free home and food to British soldiers.
Oh, that's good.
So British soldiers could go into American colonial homes and be spies. And they did not have to have the consent of the homeowner.
I think a soldier can take care of himself.
Well, it meant that the soldiers didn't have to worry about paying for a hotel. They didn't have to worry about being denied shelter, because I'm sure people that had what passed as hotels back then would probably tell a lot of the soldiers, no, I don't want you here. Because they're like, yeah, I don't want people here that are going to potentially tax us and punish us. They deny them board at their hotels. Well, they got rid of that problem, didn't they? They could just go in and take over people's homes. Do you think they went and took over the poorest people's homes?
Yes.
They went and got the nice houses.
Oh, well, that's good.
Do you think they necessarily were nice to the homeowners? Some of them might have been. Maybe a lot of them were. I don't know. But some of them probably weren't.
What?
They didn't worry about their manners.
Like maybe 10.
But remember, we're talking about 2,000 troops came into Boston, right? Isn't that what you read about yesterday in the Boston Tea Party, the massacre, right? 2,000. That's a lot of them, right? Good morning. Can I get you something? I got something. Yes. If your energy keep on going. You just go.
This is not
Uh-huh. So the Quartering Act, do you think that was one thing that really made the Colonials upset?
Yes.
I bet it really did. Okay. So let's describe each one of these things right here in your boxes. I'm going to let you guys do that on your own. These boxes on your paper, describe each one of those bills and acts, okay? You're doing that individually, okay?
explain what it is? What did the British take over? Like, what was the
It's in those. I just put them to you in everyday language. There's the special phrase in Louisiana words. Is that one of them? Oh, your mask up, okay. Yes, that. Yes.
Want us to add all the things up right now?
What's that?
You want us to add them all up right now? Like,
No. I'm trying to do my lesson plan for my sub for this afternoon.
so.
Same person we had yesterday.
So where's the lucky class?
Yes. I think I got it. All right, one more minute, my friends, okay?
One.
Yes.
Great. 6 is
All right, let's read where it starts. First Continental Congress. All right, has everybody got it where they can see all that? First Continental Congress and all right, Kimber, can you read the first paragraph under the First Continental Congress?
Instead of
Isolating.
isolating Boston from the other North American colonies, the
Intolerable.
Intolerable Act had the opposite result. Delegates from all the colonies except Georgia gathered in Philadelphia for the first
Continental.
Continental Congress in the autumn of 1774. The purpose of the Congress was to show support for Boston and to vote out a unified approach to the British.
Good. So why did everybody come together except for Georgia? Why did people from every colony come together except for Georgia? Was it to show off their newest shoes? No? Okay, why?
For the purpose of Congress.
For what purpose though? Not for taxes, what? Show support for Boston. They wanted to show that they were all against the British. It's right there in the text, guys. It doesn't say. Maybe their delegate was sick. Maybe their delegate was scared of going against Britain. We don't know. It just didn't say. Okay. I want to make sure everybody's listening, and my mouth is louder than most of my students. So I'll read the next two paragraphs. Got it? Everybody pay attention. I'm itchy today. Should take my allergy medicine. Though the Congress agreed to implement a boycott of British imported goods, the northern and southern colonies argued fiercely over a measure to ban all exports to Britain. The southern colonies were dependent on money made from their exports of raw materials, such as tobacco and rice, to England. The delegates ultimately reached a compromise, agreeing that all exports to Britain, Ireland, and the British West Indies would be banned after a year, starting in September 1775. This would give the southern colonies some time to prepare for the economic impact of the export ban. In other words, they knew they weren't going to be getting money because they were suddenly not selling their products to England, and it was going to make them fairly broke. And they needed to find other buyers for their raw products. And they had a year to find those other buyers. Does that make sense? Okay. On October 17th, 1774, the First Continental Congress issued the Declaration of Colonial Rights and Grievances. The declaration denied the British Parliament's right to tax the colonies and scolded the British for stationing troops in Boston. It described the Intolerable Acts as an assault on colonial liberties, rejected British attempts to restrict a representative government, and requested that the colonies prepare their militias. Okay, so we're going to list out at the bottom. I'm going to stop share on Canvas. You're going to leave your Canvas on that page. I'm going to share on mine, ImageMate. Okay, so what 3 things did it say at the bottom of your article, those grievances?
That the colonies tried to make a request to
All right, look. Rejected British attempts to restrict. You can do. I'm using your computer and you're moving your computer all around. Okay. They said the Intolerable Acts were an assault on colonial liberties. Intolerable Acts. Were an assault on whose liberties? I've already forgotten. On what? The colonies. Okay, what was the next thing? Yes, you write that. I'm not coming to write it on everybody's paper. Nope, not happening. None of you guys volunteered to drive us to Metairie and back, so I'm not writing on your papers. And everybody on the road would have been screaming. All right, what's the next thing? In that sentence, what was the next thing?
14,000.
No, that's not the next thing. What is it, Allie? What was it?
The colonies ordered the British taking out the troops in Boston.
They wanted the troops gone out of Boston. Rejected British attempts to restrict representative government. Okay, so rejected British attempts. Is that what this says? Rejected British attempts?
Yeah.
Rejected British attempts to restrict a representative government. What they're saying we have a representative government now. We have a government where you have some representatives of every state, correct? We elect senators and we represent representatives from every state. Everybody understands that, right? So the British were trying to say, no, you may not do that. And the First Continental Congress was saying the British may not reject that. The British have no say-so to tell us we may not do that. Does that make more sense? Okay.
Sure.
All right, my fourth song that I didn't ever have. And requested that the colonies prepare their militias. Why did they not say, colonies, prepare your armies? I misspelled that. Militias. What? Why did they not tell their colonies to prepare your armies? Come on, guys. Why did they not tell the colonists, prepare your army? Did the colonies have an army? No. All they could do were come together as individual citizens with whatever weapons they had.
Yeah, probably.
That's a militia.
Militia.
Okay.
Yeah.
A government-backed, organized group is a military. Adrian belongs to something that the government backs. Make sense? When our 2 trips to Costa Rica, when we went there, we assumed all these years, it was 10 years ago and 11 years ago that we went on our 2 trips, that it was military that greeted us at the airports with AKs. And that it was military that was at the resort, because all the beaches are public. So at the edge of the beach, between the beach's edge and the resort, there were multiple guys standing there with AKs guarding the resort. Because the resort is really fancy, and at the beach, everybody walks at the beach. And Adrian texted me earlier this week when I was in here teaching you guys. He said, and it was a group text to my husband and I, said, Mom, Dad, did you realize that that's not Costa Rican military? That was private militia. Costa Rica can only employ 47 military soldiers at any given time. They're not allowed to have a larger military force than that in the entire country.
Why?
And we were not in the capital city. We were in a small beach city. So the airport that we flew in was a resort airport, like the place we stayed was like in a cowboy area. Is a relatively dry area, not in the bigger capital city. It's not even where the little tiny military group that they have isn't even in that area. Guanacaste doesn't even have military there. San Jose, Costa Rica does. So that was militia that was there guarding the airport with AKs. And that was militia on the grounds of the Paradises. And I was like, holy cow. So they could have shot anybody and had no problems. They would have had impunity, no issues, because they wouldn't have faced a military tribunal. They wouldn't have had military court. That's the difference between a militia and a military. People who are in the military have much higher standards they have to meet. If you mess up, you go to a much more severe court, the militia. So Adrian He has to always be under scrutiny. Like if he's in uniform, he can't say bad words. He can't drink a beer in public. He can't do all kinds of stuff if he's in uniform.
Basically, if you mess up, you don't.
Yeah, you don't mess up at all.
Like if you do.
Like at all. And he was one when COVID first became a problem down here in Louisiana. He was the person of highest rank who was, he wasn't administering the test, but he was the one in the trailer doing the paperwork for the COVID test. I don't know if y'all knew, but National Guard was one of the first ones that was doing the COVID test in this area. Well, Adrian was the person in charge of it. Not the person in Baton Rouge, but the person in this area. And someone on the civilian side messed up and didn't turn the paperwork. Adrian got the blame because he was military. And the lieutenant governor and the governor was chewing Adrian out. And he's like, your name's going to be in the news tomorrow. And Adrian's like, oh my gosh, I've done nothing wrong. Adrian's like, oh my goodness. When the call ended, he said, Adrian's about to have a panic attack. And his boss said, if you don't ever understand that your position is political, let this be your lesson. Don't mess up. And Adrian's like, I didn't mess up. And he's like, yeah, your position is political. I'm like, welcome to government, buddy. Okay. Go back into your article. Let's stop share on this. Point is, there's a difference between militia and military. Military is paid for and controlled by the government. Militia is not. Yeah, militia can do a lot more than military can.
Wow.
All right, go back in here. Find out what the First Continental Congress did. What was the purpose of it? What did they agree to do? And write that at the top. You saw how I put my 3 bulleted points near the bottom of that area? Near the top, tell me what the purpose of the First Continental Congress was and what they did, okay? So those 2 things are what I'm looking for on that page, all right, guys? What is it? First Continental Congress. All right, deliver paper. Let's see. Well, I go through it. What was the purpose of the First Continental Congress? And what compromise did they come to? What did they do? Okay. No, because you have a sentence that says the purpose was. There's a sentence in there that says the purpose was. Find that sentence and write down what the purpose was.
What paragraph is it?
Am I telling you that?
Yeah, thanks for the heads
That'd be
up.
too helpful.
I found it. Well, the paragraph is that you can't say.
Bush.
Help someone out.
Bush. And then what did they do?
I can answer that. Ooh, pay attention. I found it. There's a sentence for.
Miss Favor,
Yes, ma'am.
Ben's mom's here, if you got that work together.
I'm gonna have to print it. It's gonna take me a while, so I'm gonna have to call her when I have it printed. It's probably gonna be a couple hundred pages of stuff that I'm gonna print.
A couple what now? I found it. Oh, I found it. I've answered one question. And what was?
Okay, guys, I need y'all quiet, okay?
Wait, was there 2 questions or one?
They're on the board. There's 2 questions. Look, number 1 is purpose. Number 2 is what did the men do at the First Continental Congress? I need to text this parent while she's in the office. Stop humming, please. Melanie, see if there's one of these in your desk that says vengeance, please. Oh, can you pull it out real quick and see if it's in there? I doubt there is because I think I cleaned out the desk.
Nothing in there.
Nothing? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Ooh. It already told me the answer to the second one. Oh, it does. It does show it. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Well, that's pretty easy. Yeah. Something.
Okay. If you need 3 more minutes, show me 3 fingers, 4 or 5. What you need? Okay, 4 minutes.
0 minutes.
So 9:12. Okay. Logan, sit, quiet. 9:12 is when I'm cutting off time.
Hey, sorry to keep bothering you, but can you send Ben's backpack down?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What was the next question?
Guys, keep working on those 2 questions.
What's the next question?
Shannon.
You're high energy.
For sure.
Yes, Joanna.
Megan and out. She asked what
Megan, just a minute, I'll get you the answer, okay? I had to step out for a sec. All right, what is it, Megan?
What was the next question?
At the top of the page where it says First Continental Congress and Declaration of Colonial Rights and Grievances. First thing I want you to answer is, what was the purpose of the First Continental Congress? And the second question was, what did the men do at the First Continental Congress? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Those are Ava's.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to go to next, guys, which will take you to Intolerable Acts worksheet. Which you guys just did. Then I'm going to hit next again. Battles of Lexington and Concord, text source 1 and 2. So go ahead and turn in your booklet. And you see we're starting part C, which is incredibly short. It's only got 3 lessons. It's short. All right. So the battles of Lexington and Concord were 2 battles that kind of preceded the Revolutionary War. Did you guys talk about them in ELA at all? Hi to my friends that occupy the same oxygen and space as me in here. Yeah. Whoever's home and stop. Did you guys talk about the battles of Lexington and Concord in ELA?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. There you go. You found it, Ricardo. Okay. So the Sugar Act, Stamp Act, Townshend Acts, Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, Intolerable Acts, AKA Coercive Acts, all led up to the battles of Lexington and Concord. Okay. All those things were the precursors to coercive acts. Okay. Y'all know what a precursor is? It's the things that come before an event. So what's a precursor to 4th grade? 3rd grade, right? You have 3rd grade before you have 4th grade, don't you?
Yeah, maybe.
And you had a long summer before this 4th grade, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. So battles of Lexington and Concord. I took my time and didn't start reading, so I wanted to do that first. Okay. Hello, are you there? Hi. Can you respond? Okay, good. All right, source 1, lead up to the Battle of Lexington and Concord. And for some reason, this is small on my screen. There we go. Source 1, after the Boston Tea Party, King George I of Britain ramped up the military presence there. And in June 1774, he shut down the city's harbor. We've heard this several times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Until the colonists paid for all the tea dumped overboard the previous year. Soon after, the British Parliament declared that Massachusetts was an open rebellion. On April 18, 1775, the British High Command ordered that redcoat troops would march that night on Concord. To get to Concord, The redcoats had to march through Lexington. The purpose of the redcoats' mission was to seize arms from the Americans. What? What's another word for arms?
Body. Money.
Not money. What's another word for arms?
Oh, what's it called? Wow. No. Gun. No.
Guns.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah, well, I said wow.
the redcoats marched to Lexington to take the guns from the Americans. Why did they want to take their guns?
Because so they can have
So what?
a
I want to hear Skyuna. So the American colonists could not attack. Why would they do that? Because the British were smart enough to know that if the Americans had no guns, they couldn't attack the British. Think about it. Think about it. Would you rather attack somebody who is mad at you and has a bunch of guns? Or would you rather attack somebody who's mad at you and is unarmed? Correct. So the British goal,
to get all their arms.
the British goal was to get all their arms, their guns. At dawn on April 19th, some 700 British troops arrived in Lexington and came upon 77 militiamen gathered in the town center. A British major yelled, "Throw down your arms, ye villains, ye rebels." Okay. So our first thing here, class. The first thing we're going to do on our page, let me stop share on this and go to share on ImageMate. Using our knowledge of social studies. So this is what we worked on last week. And you guys have worked on an ELA for a while. Describe how the American colonists reacted to the events described on the left. So in your words, tell me how the colonists felt about the Sugar Act, Stamp Act, Townshend Acts, Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, and the Coercive Acts. Tell me how the colonists reacted to these events right here. Okay. So tell me how the colonists reacted to these events. Okay, not just how they felt, but what did they do? Okay, write it down. If you want to look it up, go ahead. You should remember it though. I mean, you did just do the Boston Massacre and Tea Party yesterday. And we did just do the Intolerable Acts just now. Okay, stop talking and tell me, you can tell me how they felt about it, but then I also want you to tell me what they did about it. You don't have this page? It should be on the back of your part C. We're in part C now. All right, I should not hear talking. You're going to tell me how they felt. So what do they do about it? Please stop humming. Yes, ma'am. No, you need work. We've had a problem for over a week with not getting things done. Not listed in there. Quartering Act was part of the Intolerable Act. Take it. Yes, ma'am. What is it?
What do we do next when we finished writing the first in the first column.
About 1 more minute for my in-class students, and then we're going to go on to the second column, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna read source 2 also. Okay, 927 now. Second column says, based on source 1, describe 2 causes for the American colonists to be angry at King George III and the British Parliament. So we've already read source 1, yes? So describe 2 causes, 2 reasons for the patriots to be mad at King George and the British Parliament, and write that in your second column, okay? There's actually 3 different reasons that were given in that article, source 1. Give me 2 of them, okay? And write that in that middle column. Got it, guys? You guys 4 minutes, okay? And Logan already pointed this out. When they're talking about American colonists, they're talking about the patriots. Okay, so why would the patriots be that? The loyalists were loyal to the British. They weren't going to get mad at King George. Maybe some loyalists would change their mind after time, but I mean, mainly the patriots. All right, my friends, stop talking, okay? What's that? Use the lines in the middle of your page. All right, I need to talk and stop because I'm grading second blocks of papers. And then I'm going back and grading your papers during enrichment. And Maya's staying with me during enrichment because she's going to start doing some work. Yesterday, you didn't do any work in here for my sub. And last week, you didn't do work for my class.
A couple of people are gonna stay too.
More than a couple. I think it's 5 people are staying with Mr. Reedus.
Oh, what about?
Right now, I'm grading, and you guys are doing your assignment.
Yay,
So let me do my work. Stop talking, please. Logan. Got 1.5 minutes to finish up that middle column, guys. Okay. Switch classes today, like always.
No, I mean, here in March.
Let me break this, okay? Okay, so yesterday's work was worth 12 points. The Boston Massacre and Tea Party is worth 12 points, okay? I say that because one student didn't do her work very well while I was gone. She made it 2. So, just heads up. Hold on.
If we're gone to do the work, can we do it can we get a grade on it?
What?
Like if we miss school for today, does it take away?
E, if it's excused. If I have a doctor's note or a parent's note.
Does it take away finish off the?
E, excused. Okay. Source 2. Fighting breaks out in Lexington and Concord. When the British major told the militiamen to throw down their arms, what do arms mean again? Guns. The 77 militiamen were ordered by their commander to disperse. That means scatter. Don't be together in a group, but scatter. When a shot rang out. To this day, no one knows which side fired first. Several British soldiers shot back at militiamen until order could be restored. When the smoke cleared, 8 militiamen lay dead. So which side would militiamen be? The citizens. Well, there would be citizens back then, but it'd be American colonists, the patriots.
Yesterday it said.
So eight American colonists lay dead, and 9 were wounded, while only 1 redcoat was injured.
Wow.
The British then continued into Concord to search for arms, not realizing that the vast majority had already been relocated. In other words, the American colonists hid their guns. Smart, right?
Yeah, really small.
They decided to burn what little they found, and the fire got slightly out of control. Hundreds of militiamen occupying the high ground outside of Concord thought the whole town would be burned to the ground. The militiamen then hustled to Concord's North Bridge, which was being defended by British soldiers. The British fired first, but fell back when the colonists returned fire. This was the shot heard round the world, later immortalized by poet Ralph Waldo Emerson, which you guys will read works of his in high school. Come on, computer. All right, I need the extra talk and stop. After searching Concord for about 4 hours, the British prepared to return to Boston, located 18 miles away. By this time, 2,000 militiamen had gathered in the area. At first, the militiamen simply followed the British troops back to Boston. Fighting started again soon after. However, with the militiamen firing at the British from behind trees, stone walls, houses, and sheds. Before long, British troops were abandoning weapons, clothing, and equipment in order to retreat faster. Okay, so looking at your third column on the front of this page, based on source 2,
How did the colonists react to the British soldiers searching their towns for weapons? Okay, write down how the American patriots reacted to the British soldiers searching their towns for weapons. Yes. Oh, another guy got a word that. Okay. Yes, the one next to me and Mila. If you can't reach it, I'll be over there in just a moment, okay? Can you reach? I'll get it. Sienna, do you have colored pencils and crayons? Okay, do you have any at home? I can bring them for next week on this part. All right, I shouldn't hear talking. sure you take a pencil with you to art too, okay? Nope. I'll just- Sorry, I keep mispronouncing your name, Sky Unit. Should remember, it's beautiful is the word is to pronounce. Having so many things to remember. All right, has everybody filled in the third column? Okay. So the back of this page asks about source 3 and source 4. Honestly, I'm happy that we got through the front page and we did source 1 and 2. Okay, so if you will leave your packet open to the pages that we got done, that way I can walk about and grade your work. Okay, because I have to grade yesterday's work and today's work. Leave it open on your desk and I will walk around and grade it. Got it? Don't close your booklet, just leave it open. That way I can walk around and grade them. Got it? I have to be back around people that don't have personalities exactly like mine, because yesterday was like arguing with myself all day long because Colby is too much like me. My husband just, he kept laughing. He's like, Heather, I hope you're enjoying arguing with yourself all day because that's what you're doing. Yeah. All right, let's let it. All right, these students need to go to Miss Bermudez for today for Aaliyah, McGill, Hunter, Innocente, Joanna, and Kayla. You're going to need to do Zern. Got it? Aaliyah, McGill, Hunter, Innocente, Joanna, Kayla, Maya. You're staying with me. Walk around. Don't walk through the part of the what you working on, right? Yesterday's work. This work's on point. You're working on my social studies work from yesterday. Massacre, Boston Tea Party. We got them completed yet. And correctly completed, because so far the two I've graded are not correctly done.